Hi, Jonah Nelson here at Family Tree Nursery to talk about feeding your hungry plants. Now, fertilizers can be a big word, and there's a lot of confusion that can be thrown around with what fertilizers plants should have. Well, the one thing I want to remind you of is that plants really don't read. What they are looking for is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Those are the three macronutrients that are so crucial for plant growth and development. So inside of these fertilizers I'm going to be talking about today, these are the Family Tree Nursery fertilizer line. And we're going to focus on these because they really deliver a lot. And these two different fertilizers here have different applications. And I want to explain the difference between the two and what different applications you might use these for. So with fertilizers right now, this time of the year, we're into June now, and we've gotten a lot of our spring rains. We've actually gotten so much spring rain that oftentimes in our containers that are on our porches or on our patios, or on our decks, or in our hanging baskets, a lot of the nutrients that were in that soil originally have now been washed with that rain through the bottom of that pot. And you've actually leached out or removed a lot of the nutrients that were once in that pot because of all the excess rain. Now, if we haven't had a rainy year, but you've just been watering a lot because it's been hot and sunny out, then the same thing can occur where you leach out or deplete the nutrients that were once in the pot. So what you need to do is you need to replace those nutrients. And we've got two different products here that can help in doing that. Now, the first product I want to focus on is this one here, and this is called the All-Purpose Family Tree Nursery, the Water-Soluble Plant Food. And this is a 24/7/15. And what that means, on every fertilizer label, you'll see those three numbers, and they're required to be on the label. But the first number is nitrogen, the second number is phosphorus, and the last number is potassium. The way you can remember what those different ones are is that you can remember that that first number, nitrogen, is responsible for new growth. So that N with nitrogen is responsible for new growth. And because we're talking about fertilizing our hanging baskets and our flowering pots, that's the most important nutrient that you can focus on with your summer flowering things like your annuals and your tropicals. The reason that is because they're hungry, and when you produce new growth, that's where annuals and tropical plants are going to produce the predominant amount of their blooms, is on that new growth. So this is an all-purpose fertilizer, and it's water soluble. What that means is that you can essentially make like a plant Kool-Aid in order to mix it up into water. It dissolves in the water, and then you're delivering that as a liquid form. Now, on this product specifically, it comes with this blue scoop in it, and you're going to mix 1 tablespoon of this product in a gallon of water. And so this scoop is a 1 tablespoon scoop, and so you would mix this up in 1 gallon of water, and then you would deliver that to your plants. When you use this as a fertilizer, you can do this every single time you water, as long as you do it at the recommended ratio, which is that 1 tablespoon and a gallon of water. You can get by if you do it once every other week or every other time that you water, but it's really done best if you do it every time. So this can be challenging to do every single time, but it is the most effective way to fertilize a plant because it's already in a solution that the plant roots can then absorb. So this is what we use when we fertilize in the greenhouse or at our production farm to get all of our flowers in bloom and the plants actively growing with good health and nutrition. Now, health and nutrition is really important for plant material because a healthy plant is a plant that's going to be more resistant to pests, to disease, to fungus. All of those things are going to be warded off by a really good immune system. Plants are very similar to us in that if we have a great immune system and we eat well and we take our vitamins and our nutrients, then we can fight off some of those same problems that a plant can have. Now, they're different problems, but the same scenario can happen. A healthy plant can resist those things much easier, or if it does get those things, can heal much quicker. So the root system of the plant is the most important thing that you can do in order to beef up that plant. Fertilizer is the way to get the plant there. Plants are hungry, they're just like us, and this is the way that you can feed your plant. Now, because we all have busy schedules, and this can be time consuming depending on how many flower pots that you have, we have another solution, and it is the general purpose. And the general purpose is different in the way that it delivers the nutrients. This general purpose fertilizer is a granular. So it's a sulfur coated pellet, and it works through absorbing water into the pellet and then pushing the nutrients out from the pellet. So it works through osmosis. And this product works really, really well because every time you water or every time it rains, it then releases nutrients to the plants. Those nutrients that are released are in a form that the plant can then take up: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and it's not something that has to continually break down. These pellets, if they're outside, I recommend doing this once a month. So you can do it in your hanging baskets or your flower pots once a month. If you're doing it in a landscape, it's different because those nutrients aren't leaching through the soil nearly as fast because the soil particles can hang on to those nutrients. So this could be done quarterly on landscape plants like trees and shrubs. I use this on my hydrangeas, I use it on my evergreens, I use it on my Japanese maples. All my landscape plants benefit from this because every time it rains or I irrigate, it gets those nutrients delivered. Now, this being a general purpose fertilizer, it can be used on a variety of things. It can be used on your vegetable gardens, it can be used on your flower pots, it can be used on your trees and shrubs. But this is really best used for outdoor applications. The reason it's better outdoor is because that's where you're getting those good, thorough soaking rains or irrigations that will hit the pellet and then release the nutrients. If you do this inside, you may not be watering all around the plant and getting good release of those nutrients. So in an interior application, the water soluble is going to be a better option for watering your interior plants, and you're going to be watering them less frequently than you would be watering them outdoors. Between these two products, they're really good for plant nutrition, for keeping the plants healthy and keeping them at a vigorous stage of growth. And so these can both be done and used during the active growing season. The active growing season, you can think of it just like you can think of the trees in the landscape. The active growing season is when the trees have their leaves on them. So normally you can start this fertilization process normally sometime at the beginning of April and go all the way through October. And then when the trees lose their leaves, that's when you can back down a little bit on your nutrition. Now for houseplants, you might want to increase that or continue that through the course of the wintertime so that they continue to thrive, or your exterior plants will be going dormant and not using the nutrients nearly as much. You can check out any of these products inside our stores right now. We have 3 stores in Kansas City, in Overland Park, in Shawnee, and Liberty. And you can check us out online at familytreenursery.com. We look forward to seeing you soon at Family Tree Nursery.